Greetings, everyone. This is Toyin, Umesiri, author of Mindset of an Entrepreneur. Welcome to this episode of Quantum Leap. I'm super excited for the session and training I'm bringing to you today. This is particularly for sales development, sales accelerator for business owners and entrepreneurs. So let's get started. You see, the very thing I want to talk about is the context in which we are doing business today. When it comes to the business climate, we're actually in a low trust environment. What do I mean by that? Typically, we know that we do business with people we know, like, and trust. And when trust is low, when people are not as hopeful, when there is some form of uncertainty in the marketplace, the tendency is that naturally humans want to not spend, right? Because money becomes a safety measure during moments of economic uncertainty, right? Like people just want to keep their money and wait until there's some form of certainty in the marketplace. And so low trust, it's a psychological space and an emotional space where many customers want to just be in inertia, no movement. They want to wait, they want to see, they want to explore. And when that is happening among large numbers of people in the marketplace, businesses tend to suffer because while you've invested your time, energy, and resources into creating products and services, right, that solves problems for the market, if the market is not moving, if the market is hibernating, keeping their money, trying to go into some form of safety mode because they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or next year, the economic trends are not certain, they're too fluid, they're moving so fast. And so the relationship between the consumer market and the business market, right? The marketplace does not, engineer sales, right? Because sales happen where there is high trust. In high trust spaces, customers are buying, businesses are expanding, you're hiring more people because more people are spending, more people are buying. This is the law of demand and supply. Is that when there's high demand, then it's good for the marketplace. But when demand goes down, businesses struggle. So what I want to share with you is a very advanced approach to selling in a type of market that is low trust. It does put a little bit more effort on the side of the business owner, because what you used to do before in a high trust environment that used to work, that people used to buy, in a low trust environment, you actually have to do so much more. Okay? So I'm going to share with you a very advanced strategy that I designed, Quantum Leap Sales Accelerator, which unlocks deeper human design when it comes to creating emotional value first, in order to build trust. So you have to take it upon yourself to now establish trust in the marketplace. When the market already has trust, people are ready to buy, there's high demand, and all you have to do is market and then sell. But in a low demand environment where there's low trust, the business owner has to be responsible for reestablishing trust. So what I'm going to share with you is very technical, but at a very, very high level. If you follow me, you're going to get serious value from this. But the reason this is important is because the current climate, you have to do so much more to reestablish trust with the people you hope to sell to and to support. So there are two sides to the Quantum Leap Sales Accelerator. There's the psychological conversation of connecting with the minds of your prospects, and then also connecting with the hearts of your prospects. So mind, heart. Because this side of us is what's responsible for feelings and emotions. In my school, I always talk about master your feelings and emotions, because our physical nature is that action, behavior memory, experience, our life experience in the physical space is driven primarily through emotions and feelings. And emotions are created from the thoughts, okay, that we hold true within us, what we're thinking about. Okay, so our endocrine system, let me go into a little bit of science here. So the human endocrine system secretes hormones, and based on the thoughts or the needs or information being processed by the system, the type of hormone released is experienced at the cellular layer, because your cells have receptors, and so they receive chemical messaging on what is being experienced. On the other side as well, the central nervous system has nerves, okay, nerve endings that is receiving electrical charges. And the electricity, I know this is more biology and chemistry, but the nerves, when they are charged, they contract our muscles. So when we want to do something, when we think about things we want to experience or what we want to achieve, what happens is these two activators are unlocked. So motion and behavior is influenced by what we're doing energetically, and similarly, what we're experiencing as we move through life emotionally, the reactivity, the chemical reactivity that the cells are experiencing is what drives emotions. This is what we label as emotions, okay? What your cells are experiencing, pleasure, pain, okay? At the cellular level, if the hormones, if the chemical reactivity is positive, right, we experience emotional positivity. If the chemical reaction is not positive, then we experience that. Okay, so that's a high level of the science behind human creativity, right? Nature. This is the backdrop upon which the Quantum Leap Sales Accelerator is built, is that when you understand how we are designed and what we are seeking emotionally and the feelings we want to embody, you can communicate in a way that activates emotions, positive emotions and positive feelings. Okay? So that's the goal. The goal is to help people raise hope, raise belief, build trust. And in order for us to do it, we have to feel what we believe. And then emotions is what we're experiencing. So how people experience your brand, your marketing messages, okay, and your sales offer is what unlocks their reactivity and their response. I always say that you cannot think for your prospect, but your job is to give your prospects something to think about. Okay? So when it comes to your branding, the messaging, your marketing messaging, you have to craft the message and present it. Your products and services, you create them, but you have to present it. However, on the receiving side, your prospects, when they see what you've presented, what emotions they experience and what feelings they receive or they activate within themselves will determine what they are going to do. Okay, I always say passion sells, but desire buys. Desire sits emotionally. So I'm going to now go back a little bit to the behind the scene of human design, my program, Human Design. Behind every feeling and behind every emotion is beliefs and thoughts. Beliefs is tied to who we want to be, what we want to achieve, our goals, okay? And when we know we can achieve them, we have hope. We are excited. It gives us meaning to be positively oriented when we wake up, when we go about life. But if there's so much negativity in the world and humans are being bombarded by negativity, what happens to hope? What happens to dreams? What happens to aspirations? What happens to desire? So while the market may be doing right things you cannot control, right, may be as it is, you have to now understand how you control what's within your sphere of influence, your own community, right? The community you're going to build, the relationship you're going to establish with your prospects, you now have to not rely on the marketplace that you cannot control, but you now have to really manage your own messaging, your own interaction, your own connectivity, your own relationships with people who you have the opportunity and privilege to connect with. In a great marketplace, listen, the demands can be able to help business owners, because if you're selling in a market or a sector that has high demand for the things you sell, you can ride the wave. In my book, Mindset of an Entrepreneur, I say ride the wave. If your market, if your industry is growing, then you can grow your business with that market growth. But if your industry is shrinking, contracting, or declining, then your business, not just your great products and services, but the market in of itself, the market effect on the growth of an established business is something people have to be aware, because you are not operating in silo. You're operating within a marketplace where people come to buy and sell. And there are behaviors beyond you, that some within your control, some not within your control. But within such a market, I'm giving you tips and technical things you can do, is how you influence emotions and feelings. And behind emotions is what people are thinking about. If it allows them to generate positive emotions, and also the beliefs you can unlock in people, okay, to give tomorrow a chance, to give your product a chance, to give your services a chance, to believe in you, to trust you. How do you tell such a story? Okay, so 2 things here. I talk about value management, okay? So I've explained emotions, feelings, and then thinking and beliefs. What we now have to do is, how do you communicate value at every stage of that process? Your branding message, your marketing message, your sales offer message. Because ultimately your product and services hold value to you, because you've invested your time, energy, and resources to create those. And then your prospects, the money transaction, the transaction exchange, their money holds value to them, and they will hold on more to it in a less trusted marketplace. So how do you build trust such that they see your product and services as greater or equal to the value, the money that you're asking for? In one of my classes in my school, I talk about pricing strategy. Oftentimes, people may not unlock the right price to put on their product and services that will increase sales. So you want to pull some levers there, because I always recommend that the perception, okay, on the side of the potential customer or client, the value you're presenting versus the price, it's better for them to perceive the value greater than the price. Okay? So when you are telling the story, when you are presenting your offers, make it a deal. Make it something that they will know, feel, understand that the deal, the price is like less than the value, right? So market value. That perception increases sales, okay, in certain spaces. So those are just some levers we can pull for the businesses we serve. But realize that price, value, is also things that consumers will start thinking more about in low trust environments. Okay, is that price become very sensitive to pricing more than natural. So be aware of that your message now has to present higher value for people to understand, you know what, this is an investment worth taking a risk on. Because in low trust marketplaces, consumers feel like it's high risk to be spending money. Right? It's just the psychology is that it's risky. If your money is a protection, you want to keep your money and you want to see it in the bank, but there is an offer that you believe can help you. You want it, but you also want safety. But if you see it as an offer, as a great value, as a premium that has a very high chance of really transforming your life, then consumers are ready to take that risk. So you have to understand that they're actually going to be taking risks psychologically for them to trust in a low trust environment, for them to trust you, buy your products in a low trust environment. So as I start wrapping up today's session, so you want to manage value, the value you're presenting, but also the perception on the side of the prospect is that from you, You may think of value through the lens of your own investment, how much money, time, energy you have invested to create the product and services. But please also understand that on the side of the consumer, spending their money, particularly in this environment, is something that they have to calculate the risk reward, right? Saving this money, looking at it in my bank account versus buying this product and service, investing in this product and service. What will it do for me? And what will it do for me is part of the messaging of your offer. Okay? So consider everything I've shared when you're crafting your brand. Think of it as what emotional value will they see and experience? How will it make them feel? Okay? Positive, right? High impact. You want to be positively memorable. Okay? You want them to have high sense of hope, high sense of belief. And also, you want to give them a picture of a better tomorrow that will give them greater hope. Because again, during this environment, you see that people's emotions are generally lower than, right? When I say emotional threshold, is that the happy state is now being a premium, right? How many people do you see every day that is actually excited, happy, optimistic, charismatic, like really just moving through life, knowing that life is great? That's how we ought to be, right? That's how we ought to be. But when people move around and everywhere, people are like, oh, the government, oh, right, marketplace instabilities, the news is saying this. It puts a toll. It weighs people down emotionally. So people who have low emotion tend not to spend money because it requires high excitement, high potentiality, I believe, I hope, for us to be spending money every day. Because we know when we spend the money is coming back, that it's going to flow back, right? We spend more money because we're in our creative potential. When you have a job, you know, and there's stability. Listen, you spend money, you buy, you go on vacations, you relax, you eat out, you're living life positively. But when you see that maybe something may be off, you find people contract, like, no, we're not going out, not now, maybe next year. And so this is one thing we have to understand that is actually happening to people because of the climate that we're in. And I'm saying as businesses, our main purpose is to serve people, to make people, right, feel better, to bring hope, to bring positivity, to bring encouragement and motivation. And so the world needs that more today than ever before. And so if you can couple that as part of the services you present to your prospect, I think your prospect will value that greatly, because not everybody is making that investment and adding that extra, going that extra mile to really consider the emotional needs and psychological needs of humans today. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Quantum Leap. Again, I'm your host, I'm your host, author of Mindset of an Entrepreneur. Thank you so much for today, and do check out my website for more information. God bless you. Bye for now.